Hi everybody and welcome to this introduction to JavaScript. As you're watching the video, don't forget to stay focused, pay attention, and don't be afraid to try out the things that you see in the videos. Let's get started.
Hi everybody, welcome to this introduction to JavaScript. We're going to start with just a normal HTML document. We've got our HTML tags opening and closing. We've got our body tags opening and closing. We've got a head section here, the head tags. And inside the head section we have a style section where I'm styling any of my H1 tags. In fact, in the body of my web page, I have an H1 element here. Welcome to my page. And this is what it looks like at the moment. What we're going to do today is, I'm going to do this at the bottom of my web page after the body tag. I'm going to introduce a new section called the script section. There we go. And just to test if this is going to work, I'm just going to type a little bit of JavaScript. This is JavaScript. There's a little function called the alert function, and it looks like that. And inside the alert function, we can give it a message. Hey there! Okay, so this is a little function, and let's see what happens if we save our web document and go back to our web page and refresh. Hey there! So there's a little bit of JavaScript which activates a kind of a little pop-up window, okay, with the message that I asked it to show. We'll do OK, and then the page loads. So this is JavaScript, okay? Now, there's another one called, let's take that one out. I'm not going to take it, I'm going to comment it out. So that in JavaScript, you can include a comment with 2 forward slashes. That's just now a comment. Notice that in HTML, this is how we make a comment, right? It's a little bit different. We start with this bracket, exclamation mark, dash, dash, and then we have our comment, and then we finish it with dash, dash in the bracket. So that's an HTML comment. This is a JavaScript comment. Right, let's write some more JavaScript. This time, I'm not going to use alert. I'm going to use another little function, the prompt function. Let's see how this works. Let's call the prompt function. So I'm going to save that, and I'm going to go back to my web page and refresh. Ooh! The prompt function wants me to enter some data. Okay, it's not telling me what data it wants, but it's offering me this opportunity. So, well, nothing happened. So inside the prompt function, let's put a message. Please enter your name. Okay, so let's just give it an instruction this time. This is the prompt function, JavaScript's prompt function. We're going to save that, and we're going to go back to our web page and refresh the browser. Oh, please enter your name. Okay. Well, interesting. Not much happened there. Wouldn't it be great if I could enter something from the keyboard using the prompt function and assign it to a variable? Okay, so I'm just going to put another comment here. Name is a variable. And a variable is like a little box of computer memory which we're giving an identifier to so that we can find it and use it later. Okay? So I'm getting something from the keyboard and I'm assigning it to computer memory to save it, to store it in my computer. And I'm just going to give it this name. I could call this anything. I could say x equals. Okay, let's see how that works. After we get the information and store it, let's use the alert box again and see if the alert box can display whatever it was that was entered. So I'm going to save that. I'm going to go back to my web page and I'm going to refresh the browser. Please enter your name, John. Now when I click OK, this is going to be stored on my computer in a little memory box called X. John! The alert box opens up and it shows me the information that I entered, right? So we get some data from the user, we store it in our program, and then we can mess around with it. Let's just get rid of some of these sections so we can see what we're doing here. Okay, so in the script section, we have a little bit of JavaScript. Now, wouldn't it be great if, by the way, I'm just going to change that back from X to just name, because I think that's more reasonable. Don't forget the semicolon at the end of a line of JavaScript. In fact, name is a variable. So in JavaScript, when you're using a variable for the first time, you should really use the keyword var. So I'm using it for the first time, so I just need to tell JavaScript this is a variable, and I'm going to use it later in my program. All right, let's say that after I enter data from the keyboard and I store it in a variable, I now want to push it into the web page. Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't it be great if there were some other elements on my web page, some more P elements, for example? And I want to push this information into one of these elements. The problem is JavaScript doesn't know which element to push it into. And the way to solve that problem is to give each element a unique ID. So I'm going to call this one your name. And I'm going to call this one, well, let's deal with these two later. Let's just stay with this one. So I'm going to push this thing called name into this P tag, which is currently empty. There's nothing there. This is how we're going to do it. Document, yep, this is a web document, dot get element by ID. Document.getElementById. What this JavaScript does is it searches for an ID in the web document. Of course, we have to tell it which ID to search for. So we're going to search for your name. Right? So what this JavaScript does is it looks in the document, this one, and it tries to find an element with this ID. There it is. We already set it up. It's waiting. It's ready. That's it. And what we're going to do, we're going to say, hey your inner HTML is this thing that we got from the keyboard. So let's just talk about that very quickly one more time. We look in the document, we try to find or get the element with this ID. There it is, we set it up already, we're ready, that's fine. And then we're in the inner HTML of that element, which is this bit here. It's empty at the moment, there's nothing there. This is the inner HTML. We're going to assign some data. And the data that I'm going to assign is this thing that we got from the keyboard. So let's save this and let's run the code. refresh the page. Please enter your name. John. Welcome to my page, John. Okay. I don't just want to push name. I want to say hello. Let's just maximize this for a minute. Hello, space, plus this thing. So this will print out the word hello, and it will fix onto it this data from this variable. Right? So now we're going to create a little message which we're pushing into the inner HTML of this element, which is, of course, this one here that we were just looking at. Okay? So let's save that and go back here and refresh the page. Please enter your name. John. Okay. Hello, John. Okay. So that's quite a lot to absorb at the moment, but play with that idea and see if you can complete today's exercises.